2020 dubbed the Doom Decade for the reason the 2012 Olympic bombing, which will kill 13,000, was followed closely by an earthquake in Indonesia, killing 40,000, a tsunami that almost wiped out Nicaragua, and the onset of the China famine caused by once-in-a-millennium drought linked to climate change. You mean weather weapons. Once they've got these things in space, folks, they'll say, pay us more carbon taxes or you won't have good weather. And they admit that. Bill Gates now owns the biggest company, and he's hooked in with John P. Holdren. Oh, heaven help us. These people think they're God. We've got that coming up with Aaron Dykes where they say they're God. David Rockefeller says they're God's gift to God. Mirroring events in real life, the document also predicts in 2015 a large share of U.S. armed forces are recalled from countries such as Afghanistan to be stationed domestically after Posse Comitatus is removed. Yes, for the domestic insurgency, which they're actually setting up, and they're going to blow stuff up and blame it on us. It's the takeover, folks. It's here. And this is what they believe is going to happen at the Rockefeller Foundation. Gee, I wonder why you believe it's going to happen. The U.S. relocated a large share of its defense spending, domestic concerns, pulling out of Afghanistan where the insurgent Taliban seized power once again, as they always had a deal to do. As is happening right now, the document outlines how nations will lose power over their own finances due to massive debt, apparently handing over financial sovereignty to banking technocrats, using the word technocrat, which they've now rolled out. This is all an exact plan. Amazing article. Amazing article. Amazing article at Infowars.com right now. Here's another one. Facebook deletes accounts, demands passport. Our reporter, Patrick Henningsen, has had his thing deleted. They admit it's a CIA data miner. We had a bunch of Facebooks that fans made, and they signed them over to us. That's why the Alexander Emmerich is spelled wrong. People say, if that Emmerich is spelled wrong on Wikipedia, well, then why do you have it on your Facebook? Because I didn't create the Facebook. But after we took it over so they could face scan, they demanded my driver's license to be able to give us our account back. And then they also send out to Darren McBreen and others, here's photos of your high school friends. Are these your friends, to prove this is your account? So they can face scan those and have human AI approve and vet their AI system with their algorithms to test the neural network they're building. That's why they've got humans jacked into the drones now, even though they could already be autonomous, and some are, because they're learning off the human activity with a brain interface to mimic the best drone pilots. Humans are going to be obsolete in the globalist own words. The mass extermination of you and your family is approaching. They wanted to start the extermination by 2015. We've probably got them a decade behind. 2020, 2025, you will see mass bio attacks that will kill millions and millions of people. Very soon, I predict low-yield nuclear weapon will be detonated in Chicago or maybe even D.C. Dallas, Cleveland. Why do I say those? CFR likes to brag. They said those are the targets. Gary Hart said you will see those cities nuked by domestic groups. Guys wearing John Deere hats. You know, people like me that actually know they're the enemy. Nukes, bioweapon releases, and you watch the mainstream media get everybody behind this stuff when this stuff happens. And, well, we can't have Alex Jones on the air during a time like this. And if we roll over at that point, then they're going to drop the hammer. And they could do it next week. They could do it 10 years from now. But this is going to happen. We have been seized by the technocrats if we don't turn this around. Bill in Washington, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Alex, first-time caller, long-time listener. Thank you for what you do, brother. I woke up on 9/11 watching those buildings fall and just knowing something was up, something was fishy. And I kind of went back to sleep for about a year, and then I saw you, and you shook me wide awake, and I appreciate you for that.
Well, sir, please don't appreciate me. We're all in this together. I mean, look, they're going to kill us if we don't turn this around. I told you they're going to start killing old people, killing little kids. That's already starting. I mean, these people mean business, folks. And their whole fake academic cover, you know, non-threatening is a cover. You've got to understand that.
Well, you know what? I'm sitting here in my John Deere hat, and with my Ron Paul sticker. I'm a PCO for my precinct. I was a delegate for my county. I witnessed how the system basically didn't care how flagrant they were on breaking the rules to get Ron Paul out of that state convention. And everywhere I see...
But it doesn't matter because Ron Paul got to inform people. All right, Aaron Dykes and I are going to break down the wise men, the globalists, the New World Order crowd, and play a TV clip from decades ago where they're being worshipped for their tyranny. And we've got some David Rockefeller documents from Bilderberg that we're going to be breaking down that dovetail the documents that we got and published yesterday. In fact, Aaron's over there scanning the rest of them in right now to publish them today in full. But right now, let's go to Mike in Wyoming. Mike, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Alex. There are a couple stories. It's been a long time since I've been able to get in to reach you. Your success is a bit of an impediment. The Afghan pipeline that supposedly touched off the attack on Afghanistan, has that ever been built, or is it being built?
They have built part of the pipelines over there, and they're also setting up the mining operations for the lithium and other things in that area.
Okay. Yeah, I heard from Tex Mars that the Chinese are very busy mining in the eastern part of the country while we're duking it out with the so-called Taliban.
Well, again, the globalists own the big Chinese factories predominantly. The Chinese generals make a little bit of the money. And that's why we paid $20+ billion to move our factories to China. See, people always think of this, well, why do we give China the Panama Canal? Why do we give them the mining operations that, yes, are in the east and they're bordering China? Why? Why do we give China the oil in Iraq? That's the plan. Suck America dry while we get the blame for everything.
So you can confirm that what Tex says about giving $3 a barrel oil to BP in China is accurate?
I'd seen numbers, even the financial papers, similar to that in the last year or so, and that the Chinese are getting 98%. I kept saying 92% of rare earth minerals, but the last number I saw was 98% of world rare earth minerals are mined by the Chinese. So the globalists have basically said that's the only group allowed to do it. Because, see, China's got a deal to produce products at prices no one can compete with to bankrupt everyone else. This is part of a globalist economic war allied with China. The globalists are allied with China even as they encircle them in the Pacific because they don't trust each other. They're allied, but only for a time. Russia was created, the modern communist Russia state, by the U.S. and London banks. Modern communism has been declassified, was financed by them, so that the Russians would never have a real revolution and actually get freedom from the czars. They just traded it out for something even worse. And it was all controlled by Rothschild oligarchs. That's even come out in court. Rothschilds have sued over that and lost. But Russia, to a great extent, is not totally in bed with the New World Order now. That's why the Bilderberg group's trying to overthrow them and stuff right now. Russia's corrupt. It's got a bunch of their own oligarchs in there. Yeah, there it is. Clean energy could lead to scarce materials. And he put an article up on screen dealing with rare earth minerals. Currently, China produces 98% of the world's rare earth minerals, making those metals the most geographically concentrated of any commercial scale. There are a lot of them in Africa, a lot of them in Central Asia around Afghanistan, and a lot of them in Australia as well. Not many of them around here. Anything else, sir?
Yeah, a few years ago, you interviewed Brigida Jonsdottir, I think her name was, from Iceland. She was a member of the Icelandic parliament.
Yeah, we need to get her back on.
Yeah, are they still trying the former prime minister for his financial crimes?
Yeah, I mean, for those that don't remember, this is a blueprint for everything. They told him, you've got to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars apiece in debt to bail your country out. And then they held out for a year and found out 90+% of the debt, I think it was 92 there, it's like 93 in Ireland, I get the two numbers mixed up, was not their debt. It was Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Bank of England debt, but their criminal government was signing them onto it. And last time I heard, they held them off, though they're just devaluing their currency, which in a way robs the Icelandic people, but the bankers don't get everything they wanted. But that's a model. It's the same number worldwide. 90, it's right at about 90 here. 90% of the debt is not Social Security. And I'm not for those things either because they make you dependent. That's just the bait on the end of the hook. But right at 90% of our debt is not our debt. It's derivatives. The Washington Post says 2 years ago that we've signed on to $644 trillion of the 1.5 global quadrille, 1,500 trill of the top 6 banks' fake debt. And instead of them all going to jail like Bernie Madoff, our governments sign on to it, and then they are our technocratic rulers and say it's our debt. That's pretty good business if you can get it. And it's all done because the general public is literally trying to act cool, living in la-la land, believing television and this whole fake culture is real. And when it's only a tiny slice of reality, of course the top globalists want to be secret and aren't into pop culture and being seen. They're into ruling. They're into space travel, genetic engineering. Okay, we are going to continue with your calls and a ton of news into the third hour coming up. For everybody that's holding, Rich, Sean, Terry, John, Bev, everybody will get to you. But before I go any further here, I do want to remind listeners that we are listener-supported. We're not funded by the Rockefeller, Ford, or Carnegie Foundation, or the Koch brothers, or the New World Order. We're funded by our sponsors and by people that purchase high-quality water filters, books, videos, T-shirts at Infowars.com, InfowarsShop.com, InfowarsStore.com will also get you there. Again, InfowarsStore.com. And we have discounted the best gravity-fed filters. We've got side-by-side comparisons at InfowarsShop.com, the leading competitor. Their shower filters, everything they've got is the best. Already at the lowest price, but you add the product code WATER on any water filtration product, like ProPure, you get 10% off the already lowest prices. Show folks the Traveler. The Traveler is my favorite. That's the king right there. But the Traveler's right there. You're on it. It's middle column, right inside. Absolutely. Traveler is just an awesome unit as well, and it's the lowest price there. Also, the Monophyllon, from my research, is the best seaweed system out there for energy, thyroid health, you name it, discounted at Infowars.com as well. And we have all the great longevity products discounted. We have a deal that nobody else has got, free shipping when you on qualifying auto ship orders at InfowarsTeam.com. That's InfowarsTeam.com. You can also go there to the site and learn how to become a distributor at InfowarsTeam.com and get discounts there as well, and work with the sales team by calling the toll-free number on the site, 877-551-3101, InfowarsTeam.com. And last but not least, it is free. And it is exploding, and we're going to start a weekly video I'm going to do, or the crew is going to do. I'll do it sometimes. They'll do it sometimes. It's actually going to be twice a week. Questions for Alex or questions for Planet Infowars. We've had it in beta a few weeks. A lot of people have joined it. It's free. You're giving us your suggestions. We're adding different sections to it, different groups. PlanetInfowars.com.